Tom Brady made it official this morning, retiring from the NFL after 22 majestic, legendary, unprecedented seasons of genius and greatness. He's the greatest quarterback ever, greatest NFL player ever. Tom Brady is the greatest ever. Tom Brady has significantly more years as the GOAT than Michael Jordan and Wayne Gretzky. He's your GOAT's GOAT, one of one. Tom Brady was the ultimate Horatio Alger, rags to riches story. 6th round pick, number 199. Mo Lewis hit Drew Bledsoe in September of 2001, and literally the rest is history. Brady stepped in, took the job, won the Super Bowl, beating the Rams in the greatest show on turf, and never looked back. 7 Super Bowl championships, 5 Super Bowl MVPs, 3 league MVPs, a crunch time and playoff assassin and legend. 35 playoff wins. 35. It's incredible. And he went from a winner using the Patriots defense and maximizing the likes of Branch, Patton, and Brown to lighting up scoreboards with Moss and Welker and Gronk and Edelman. Brady threw for close to 85,000 yards. Amazing. He passed for 624 touchdowns. He threw for more yards as a 40-year-old than he did in his 20s. Think about that for a second. And what Brady and Belichick did in New England, it's the greatest dynasty in sports history when you consider the salary cap and competitive balance. It'll never be duplicated. And what he did with the Bucs over the last 2 years, incredible. Doing it without Bill Belichick. He won a title in Tampa in a pandemic, in a new offense with no offseason. And in 2021, you can argue he's a top 2 quarterback in the NFL. Would have been number 2 on my list for a league MVP if there was an actual list behind Aaron Rodgers, throwing for well over 5,000 yards. My goodness. Tom Brady talked last week about wanting to spend more time with his family. And then we said on Time to Shine that we were 100% sure once he talked like that, that was it. Brady's work ethic and focus, just legendary. That's how he became the GOAT. He retired on top. Still playing at a GOAT's level this past year at age 44. Jordan didn't do that. Neither did Gretzky. Nobody could do that. After 22 years of genius, Tom Brady was still Tom Brady. We always appreciated every single moment. There will never be another Tom Brady. I'm so happy for Matthew Stafford and the Rams. The Rams' galaxy of stars continue to shine bright, as the Rams get said, to show off at home in the Los Angeles Super Bowl. And honestly, it doesn't get any better or more Hollywood than that. This is why the Rams made the Matthew Stafford trade. And we said it on Time to Shine 365 days ago. The Stafford trade equaled the Rams playing in the LA Super Bowl. But then Stafford had to deliver, and his postseason has been just incredible. The Rams aren't playing on February 13th with Jared Goff, simple as that. Stafford had never won a playoff game before this year, languishing in Detroit. He was efficient and strong against the Cardinals, dominant against the Bucs, and he was absolutely positively clutch against the Niners, down double digits to start the fourth. Matthew Stafford is a star. A Hall of Fame caliber quarterback and playing like it. And oh, by the way, his defense backed him up brilliantly, spanking and flummoxing Jimmy G in crunch time, as Stafford and Cooper Kupp were able to work their magic in the fourth quarter in comeback fashion. Aaron Donald, of course, is an all-time great. He's an all-time great defensive ball player, and he played like it in crunch time. Nobody talks about what they gave up in the Jalen Ramsey deal when you're playing in the Super Bowl. Von Miller and Odell Beckham Jr., big-name in-season pickups who played brilliantly this postseason. And Les Snead's Ocean's 11 Galaxy of Stars approach has worked out perfectly. Only one thing left to do in the Hollywood script. Joe Burrow stole my necklace. Joe Burrow is a legend. He has it. He leads the league in it. And now he's Super Bowl bound. Joe's cool has changed everything for Cincinnati, brilliantly guiding them to an 18-point comeback win in Arrowhead. against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. It's one thing to win the game, and obviously, as you know, I gave Cincinnati a great chance to do that. But to win like that, down 18, that's next level. The Bengals go from worst to fifth worst to the Super Bowl. I mean, it's crazy because of Joe Burrow being a star and oozing confidence and oozing that belief to the entire team. Money Mac kicked the game winner and also bombed a 52-yard field goal during the ball game, late in the game, to break the tie at 21. That's incredible. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon were terrific. The defense made game-changing plays. They've done it all season. Trey Hendrickson, Jesse Bates, Von Bell, Eli Apple's tackle of Tyreek Hill at the end of the first half changed the complexion of the entire ball game. They've had 2 straight road playoff wins against great teams after never winning a road playoff game ever. The Bengals are beating great teams and rewriting history. That's all Joe Burrow. I love this team. I believed in this team. They lead the league in cool with a great opportunity to go from worst to first in 2 short years. Lots of talk out on a Tuesday with Tom Brady officially announcing his retirement. So let's talk this out together. Will anyone ever have a more dominant run than Tom Brady? No, absolutely not. And you look at what Tom Brady did with the New England Patriots, it is the most special run in the history of sports. The Brady-Belichick combination, elites, greatest coach-quarterback combo in sports history. You know, who's better, Belichick or Brady? They both needed each other. Belichick had the guts to go with a 6th-round pick. But look at the AFC Championship appearances. And remember, this is a single elimination postseason tournament, okay, which is different than baseball and different than hockey and different than basketball. Tom Brady was the starting quarterback for 18 years in New England. Was there for 20, didn't play in his rookie year of 2000, and the 1 year he played 1 game when he got hurt against Kansas City and Matt Castle was the quarterback. So he was the starter for 18 seasons. He was in the Final Four 13 times. There are so many unreal nuggets of domination. The wins, winning the division, starting there, obviously the postseason, as we talked about to start the show. But the fact that he was a constant in Tampa and in New England on Championship Sunday, it's remarkable. Saved his best for when it mattered the most. Sometimes there are numbers that lie. Sometimes you have numbers like this that tell a complete story. Look, he could have played until he was 50, but he made that decision that he didn't want to put that kind of focus in anymore to football, and obviously now it's wonderfully for him about his family, and I'm so happy for Tom Brady. He wants to be there as a husband, wants to be there as a dad. You know, I'm watching Man in the Arena, and it's funny, before the reports, ironic, before they broke on Saturday, I just watched the episode where his sisters were interviewed. And this was before the Super Bowl in Houston and against the Falcons. And that was a Deflategate year and the toll that it took on his family. And by the way, Deflategate should have never even happened. It was a $25,000 fine. What it should have been, should have never been suspended. His mom was sick. They didn't know if she would make it. Literally, they didn't know if she would make it to the Super Bowl. And the emotions, I was crying watching it. And Tom knew going into this year. That's what Man in the Arena is. That's what his Let's Go show on SiriusXM is. It was his way of saying goodbye and capturing everything. And now he retires on top. There will never be another Tom Brady. And that run, what he did in the salary cap era in New England, it will never, ever be duplicated. You think back to that comeback against the Falcons. You think back to the perfect regular season. Didn't beat the Giants, obviously, and Eli to David Tyree. And what happened at the end? That regular season, I will always argue, greatest regular season in the history of the National Football League. It will never, ever, ever happen again. Hope you appreciate it. I certainly did. Back to Championship Sunday, where the Chiefs blew an 18-point lead to the Cincinnati Bengals. So how much blame is on Patrick Mahomes for that loss? Let's talk this one out together. Look, Patrick Mahomes was Patrick Mahomes in the first half of this game. In the second half, in overtime, it was Blake Bortles. There's no other way to phrase it. He went from Mahomes to Bortles. Awful throws, turnovers, mind-numbing decisions. You saw part of that sequence. What transpired when you look at everything that happened at the end of regulation. You know, really, this whole thing changed, if you're being honest and objective. And we thought it in real time at the end of that first half. Everything changed. Why they didn't, and Andy Reid takes a lot of blame here too. I mean, first of all, just kick the field goal. The sheer ignorance and arrogance, and then the flip behind the line of scrimmage to Tyreek Hill, and we referenced Eli Apple in that tackle earlier in the show. I mean, it's crazy. It changed everything. It's like they were spooked. Cincy got all the momentum. They forgot how to play, and these numbers tell the story. The points, the turnovers. You couldn't establish Tyreek Hill in the second half. Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid both deserve blame. Listen, Andy Reid looked like the coach in Philadelphia who forgot how to coach and manage a clock in big spots. And remember, on that play at the end of the first half, Mahomes signaled for a timeout after Hill was tackled. He had no idea what was going on. A, should have kicked. B, that was just arrogance, ignorance. They were flummoxed. They had no idea what was going on. And Mahomes and Andy Reid, look, 4 years, Championship Sunday, all 4 years Mahomes has been a starter. They deserve, there's perspective, but they deserve the heat and the criticism for blowing that lead in the fashion they did on Championship Sunday at home. How about the NFC Championship? What's next for Jimmy G after the loss to the Rams? Let's talk this out together. Look, we've talked about the Jesus Jimmy kind of moments. And look, Garoppolo is tough. Garoppolo is obviously, he's been playing through pain, the thumb, the shoulder. You can't win a Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo. And, you know, the Niners players all love him. Kyle Shanahan appreciates his toughness, but it's over for Jimmy Garoppolo. There is no chance, even if Trey Lance is not ready for prime time, those plays, these numbers tell the story. Jimmy Garoppolo is an obstacle if you, in fact, actually want to win a championship. There's no chance he's back with the Niners. A lot of stuff to get off my chest on a Tuesday. How about Tom Brady not mentioning the Patriots in his initial retirement post? Look, it was jarring. But go back and read what he wrote when he left New England. He praised Belichick, the Kraft family, and just said all sorts of glowing things about Boston. And let's also remember, he changed Boston sports. You have to remember, jog the mental Rolodex, the Patriots were an afterthought in Boston sports for a long time. And he eventually did this, which I hope, you know, satisfies everyone who's part of Patriots Nation. I was surprised on that initial post, 9 screens long on Instagram, and didn't mention New England. But again, go back to when he left the team in 2020. It was all thanking his teammates and the Kraft family and Coach Belichick and most especially the fans. Look, before Brady, it was the Red Sox, the Celtics and Bruins, and you could debate the order, but the Bruins, I mean, everyone loves them in Boston, part of the fabric. But it was the Red Sox, it was the Celtics, it was the Bruins, and the Patriots were a distant fourth. Now, you think about people who are ages 5 through 35, it's the New England Patriots number 1. I mean, you have boys, you have girls, you have dogs, you have cats in the New England area who are all named Brady because of Tom Brady. I mean, the impact is unbelievable. He's obsessed with the area. I was surprised he didn't mention it, but never get it twisted. I mean, I think he's ahead. Think about all the legends, right? He's ahead of Larry Bird. He's ahead of Bill Russell. He's ahead of Orr. He's ahead of Poppy. He's ahead of Teddy Ballgame. Anyone you want to throw at me, Tom Brady is number one in the history of Boston sports. Gotta get this off my chest. Jim Harbaugh to the Minnesota Vikings would be amazing and fascinating. How about this? Harbaugh has a second interview with Minnesota set tomorrow, which happens to be National Signing Day. Look, I've made the case if Harbaugh is going to leave Michigan, the time is now. He beat Ohio State, won the Big Ten, made the college football playoffs, and if he was ever going to leave and go back to the pros where he was fabulous, he should go to Minnesota or Miami right now. Look at the weapons on this team. You put Harbaugh on this squad, and that's an 11-12 win team. Seriously. And if Rodgers goes to Denver, they're going to win the division and host a playoff game. So, I made the case. The time is now. I've been making that case. I've been banging that drum for a while. I thought it was going to be the Raiders, but obviously that's not going to be the case. But Minnesota, and he has a relationship with the new GM from their time together in San Francisco, where he was phenomenal with the 49ers. Vikings, that would be a slam dunk and a home run for the Minnesota Vikings and for Jim Harbaugh. I gotta get this off my chest. Josh McDaniels makes a lot of sense as the Raiders' new head coach. And it makes sense for McDaniels and it makes sense for the Raiders because they need an offensive mind. And McDaniels is brilliant as play caller and as a leader. He grew from the Denver fiasco and really didn't understand how to treat people and other coaches. And listen, obviously leaving the Colts at the altar, that was slippery, that was bad. He wanted other jobs, including the Panthers, and he didn't get them, so he paid for that. I think, assuming they sign Derek Carr, and I love Derek Carr, he will take Derek Carr to a totally different level. Sign Derek Carr. Let McDaniels take Carr to new heights. I think this is amazing for McDaniels, for Carr, for Raider Nation. You just need to sign Derek Carr for his next contract. He's worth every single penny.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the bell for more videos.